moja kwa moja na kuregesha katika mahakama ya Milimani, mahakama ya juu, mahakama kuu ya Milimani, ambapo kesi ile dhidi ya Babu Owino itakuwa inaendelea kusikilizwa pale. Wakati huo huo, katika maeneo mbalimbali nchini tayari wafuasi wa muungano wa NASA wameanza kufanya maandamano yao. Tumekupeleka kule Kisumu na vile maeneo mengine itakuwa na kupeleka pia Eldoret kuona kama wana maoni yapi kuhusiana na hilo. Lakini kwanza ni kupeleke kule Milimani tuweze kuona, je, kesi hii inakwenda namna gani?
Now, Your Honor, I'm going to address you briefly on the context of this case, part of it which has been put forward by the prosecution, although in a manner that supports the case. And the fate of the law and the Constitution, but the main substance of the application, including the analysis of the affidavit, is my learned friend Mr. Tinde is going to deal with. Your Honor, I would ask this court to look at what is before you, what the prosecution so far has put before you, not the impression they are trying to create, what is actually before you. And even when you are considering the seriousness of the charge, Your Honor, I urge you to look at what is before you, rather than what is said in the affidavit, or those annexures relating to the newspapers. Because at the end of the day, the prosecution basically starts with the filing of the charge or the complaint. Your Honor, under Section 89, subsection 5, it is within your powers to look at the charge that is placed before you and determine, even so motu, whether there's a proper charge before you. And then you can proceed with the plea. But even after the plea, it's always in the mind of the court whether there's a proper charge before the court. And since we are talking about the gravity of the charge, Your Honor, it is important to make a determination whether there is in fact a serious and grave charge before Your Honor. And doing this, I'll look at the charge, the law, and a bit of historical context to the law as applied and what has been placed before the court. And Your Honor, you have to look at the charges as placed before you, not as the court would wish them to be. And Your Honor, the starting point is the charge sheet. If you look at the charge sheet, it is a charge of subversion contrary to Section 77, subsection 1F. Your Honor, the last time I looked at the penal code, which is now, there is no Section 77 1F. It does not exist. So on that account alone, the charge before you is nothing. It's not defective, It's not improper. It does not exist in the penal code. It could have been section 72(2), but the entire subsection 72(2) was repealed by Act number 5 of 2003. (77) subsection 2, but that entire subsection was repealed under Act number 5 of the year 2003. Now, I know, as Mr. Ondima was telling you at the beginning, that he didn't mean section 77, he meant 77A. Now, an argument is going to be put before you that they meant section 77(3)F. But 77(3)F is not before you, unfortunately. And the Honor, even if it was under section 72, 77, 70, what was it? 77, 3F, and I invite your Honor to look at it so that you deal with the charge before you, as opposed to what is in the mind of the prosecution. Your Honor, if you look at the 77F, and it reads as follows. So let me cite it in extenso so that we get an understanding. For purpose of this subsection, subversive means intended or calculated to bring into hatred or contempt or to excite disaffection against any public officer or any class of public officers in the execution of his or their duties, or any naval, military, or air force, or the National Youth Service for the time being lawfully in Kenya, or any officer or member of any such force in the execution of his duties. The reference is to public officer. I emphasize, public officer. And then it is in the biological sense, in the execution of his or their duties. It may be organic, his or their duties. Now, if you look at the charge, it's saying which words were calculated to excite disaffection against the presidency. Now, there's no public officer by the name of the presidency. There is none. If you look at Article 260 of the Constitution, it defines, it provides for state officers. 260 of the Constitution. It defines who are state officers. And the presidency is not one of them. I don't know where they got this one. And the presidency is so amorphous, if you want to be specific. There are so many people in the presidency, including people in the Ministry of Devolution, including the deputy president. If you are looking at the public officers in the presidency, so to speak, the number in their thousands. And that was